Hi there, it's Adam here from Daily ESOL. If you're one of those people who finds speaking on the telephone difficult, especially when you're at work, then today's lesson is just for you. We're looking at phone English for work, the most common UK phrases. Hopefully by the end of this lesson, I will have given you plenty of confidence so you will not be feeling so nervous when you're speaking to people on the phone at work. But why is speaking on the phone so difficult? Well, there are a number of reasons. It's difficult because you can't see the other person's face. When you're speaking in normal life, it's much easier because you can see their reaction, you know if they understand you or not. Much harder when you're speaking anonymously, you don't see them, you can't see that reaction. A lot of the communication that we have is actually non-verbal, and you're not getting any of that. So that's one of the main reasons why it's so difficult. Also because people speak fast, especially if you are speaking to a native speaker. When they start to speak on the phone, they assume that you are going to be listening at a fast pace. So they're going to speak fast. We're going to talk about how you can deal with that in this lesson. Also accents, many different accents around the UK. And some of them are very difficult to listen to, especially when they are isolated by speaking on a telephone. Sometimes you can have background noise that can be distracting. There might be a bad connection. Maybe it's simply that you feel nervous. Well, this last one is something that we can definitely deal with in today's lesson. As I said, don't worry, because you just need a few key phrases to get you started, and that will help hopefully build your confidence. So in today's lesson, we're going to look at how to answer the phone politely, how to ask who is calling, how to ask someone to repeat if you didn't quite hear what they said, how to take a message, how to transfer a call, important especially if you're working on a switchboard at work or if you're taking calls on behalf of other colleagues, and then how to end the call politely. We'll do a bit of speaking practice, so I'll give you a chance to practice using these phrases yourself, and a recap quiz at the end, as always. Okay, let's get on with it. So there are 5 parts to this. The first part is about actually answering the phone at the beginning. And it may be that if you're in a place of work where you often answer the phone, they may have already given you some training on this. But if they haven't, or if you're working for yourself and you just want to get a sense of what is the correct formal way to answer the phone, then you cannot go wrong with just simply hello, the name of the company, how can I help? It's a very nice, clear, professional phone greeting. So, hello, ABC Cleaning Services, how can I help? Hello, Green Pharmacy, how can I help? And a good tip is to smile when you speak. It sounds silly, but you really will sound more positive and cheerful in your tone of voice if you smile. And the intonation, the tone of your voice. To try maybe what we call the Australian intonation when you go up at the end, sounding upbeat, sounding positive. Make a friendly greeting when you answer the phone. Can I ask who's calling, please? Important. Just simply, who are you? You can't just go, hi, who is this? We need, can I ask who's calling, please? Or can I ask who I'm speaking to, please? Very British, very polite. If they tell you and you need to make a note of it and you can't quite get it, maybe it's an unusual name and one that you've not heard before, a good way of finding, instead of saying, what? Don't understand. Could you spell that, please? Tell me the letters, get them to spell it out. Or, sorry, could you spell your surname? Then you can write it down, make a note of it. Okay, so that's answering the phone. You're actually in the call now. What do you do if you don't understand? Here's some nice useful phrases. Sorry, could you say that again? It just means repeat. Sorry, could you repeat that is another way of saying it. Could you speak a little more slowly, please? Maybe there's just, you don't understand because they're talking too fast. So could you speak a little more slowly, please? Just means speak slower. Or could you say that again more slowly, please? This is not rude in the UK. It's perfectly reasonable for you to say it like this. Notice a lot of these, they're what we call rhetorical questions. We're putting it like a question rather than it being too direct. If there's a little bit of interference and you can't hear clearly, maybe someone's speaking from a phone where the connection is bad. Sorry, the line is really bad. Let them know. Let them know that you can't hear them. Don't just pretend the phone connection is not clear. Or just simply, sorry, I can't hear you very well. Okay, so the third part is when you're taking messages. Maybe you need to get some information from that person because the one that they need to speak to is not in the office or the workplace. I'm afraid he or she isn't available right now, meaning the person cannot speak now. Or I'm afraid he's in a meeting. So something just polite. Don't be making too many excuses. Just simply say that he's not available right now. This phrase, I'm afraid, is a very polite English phrase, a typical English expression that we have. The next one when you're taking a message would be, would you like to leave a message? Very simple, straightforward. Just, do you want me to write a message? Is what we're saying here. Or can I take a message? And they give you information, you're not quite sure what they said. Let me just confirm that, especially if it's important information. Let me just confirm that number. Let me just confirm your name. So the fourth part, transferring and holding. So again, this is probably more likely if you're somebody on reception or you're taking calls on behalf of colleagues. Could you hold on a moment, please? Simply wait. You might put them on hold. Could you hold the line for a moment, please? Or just a moment, please. Very common in UK workplaces. I'll put you through. So the person that they've asked for, you've checked if they're available. They are. You just say, I'll put you through, and then you transfer them. I'll put you through to my manager. I'll put you through now. Or maybe they're not available. Simply, can he or she call you back? They'll phone you later. Maybe you might say when. Can she call you back this afternoon, or can he call you back in half an hour? Something like that. And what about when you get to the end of the call? To end your call politely, simply, thanks for your call. It's a nice polite ending. Thank you for calling. Speak to you soon. If it's somebody maybe who you're a little bit more familiar with, not somebody who you've never met before, speak to you soon is a nice polite way to end the call. Very common UK workplace ending. Okay, let's have a look at some common mistakes to avoid when using telephone English. First thing would be not to be too direct. Who are you? Say again. Wait. Clearly this is not polite. If you're at work, you need to be polite. These are the more polite ways of saying these things. Who are you? Can I ask who's calling, please? Say it again. Sorry, could you say that again? Wait. Could you hold on a moment, please? And pronunciation can also be a problem in telephone English. These are some of the more common problem words that you might practice a little bit to make sure that you're comfortable, because they're going to come up very often in telephone conversations. Available, confirm, through, message, moment. Practice them yourself. Practice speaking them slowly and then faster as you get more confident. Several syllables. Make sure you sound all the syllables when you're saying these words. And speaking of pronunciation, let's do a little bit of speaking practice. So pause and repeat. What we do here is I will say the sentence and then I'll pause to give you time for you to say it aloud yourself. So you may not want to be doing this if you're in a public place, if you're in the middle of a train or a bus or a crowded office on your lunch break, you might get some funny looks. But if you're on your own, somewhere quiet, please go ahead and actually physically have the words coming out of your mouth. Hello, how can I help? Can I ask who's calling, please? Could you spell that, please? Sorry, could you say that again? Could you speak a little more slowly? I'm afraid he isn't available right now. Would you like to leave a message? Let me just confirm that. Could you hold on a moment, please? I'll put you through. Can she call you back? Thanks for your call. Speak to you soon. Okay, and now over to you. Let's check your learning. Here is a recap quiz, 3 questions. If you want to pause the video and have a look at them and take your time, then that's fine. And then when you're ready, start it up again and we'll check the answers together. Okay, so the first one, it says, I'll put you through. Which one does it mean? I will transfer the call. Could you all hold on a moment means simply wait. And the line is really bad. The phone connection is unclear. Okay, so we've looked at some key phrases which hopefully have been useful for you. But with phone English, it's not just about the vocabulary, it's mainly about the confidence. So the truth about phone English really is, in order to build your confidence, I would recommend that you need practice, listening practice, pronunciation practice, speed practice. You need to be doing real role play situations is the only way. You don't want to practice in real time when you're actually on the call, because you could get nervous. It could be an important call. So this is important time to invest in practicing this so you can be very, very confident the moment that you pick up the phone. You can't learn this properly by only watching videos, sadly. So the best way to improve, I would say, is practicing with a teacher. Real play, real phone call, role play situations. You can give the teacher your information about your workplace, and then they can create situations, a variety of situations typical to what you will deal with at work. They can correct your mistakes better than actually working with somebody who isn't a teacher, who may not necessarily feel polite, that it's not polite to correct mistakes. The teacher, it's their job. They will improve your pronunciation. So don't be practicing with somebody whose pronunciation is not good. You need to get it very, very crisp and clear. Learn what British people really say. A native speaking teacher will be able to share this with you, and this way you're going to feel confident at work. If you do want to practice, you don't know someone who you can practice with, why not just go ahead and book a tutorial, a one-to-one tutorial. If you look at the website at the bottom there, ESOL Online, esol-online.com. If you go on there, you can book a one-to-one tutorial at a time that's convenient. This is a perfect chance for you to practice speaking and listening, role plays of real UK workplace situations, get feedback and corrections when you're making mistakes, and you can work on creating a clear plan to improve faster in the future. Okay, so we're coming to an end on this lesson today. If you live and work in the UK, do not forget your English is your future. For most people, they tell me that the biggest barrier to progress at work and in life in the UK is good English. So don't waste your time with random learning. Don't be just sitting at home watching videos on Instagram, TikTok, etc. Be active. Which brings me nicely onto my 3 golden rules. Always have a clear plan. Always choose active learning, doing it, trying to speak or yourself, not just listening to other people. And as always, I always say, stay confident, because a confident you is a happy you, and that is what we want. So I hope this has been a good lesson for you. I hope it's useful. Enjoy your workplace by being confident. That's it for now. See you in the next video. Please don't forget to let me know in your comments if you think that there's any key phrases that I've missed out. Always happy to hear from you. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you on the next video lesson, and bye for now.